Again, if it's your first time, oh, if it is your first time, just want to kind of go through our guidelines. So we do meet for the third Thursday of every month. This is a safe environment. We do not record the discussion. You'll notice somebody started recording just now. We do record the training piece because we want others to be able to access that later. So just be aware if you come off of mute to contribute or ask questions or anything, that piece will be recorded. But we are going to stop recording at the end of the training and then jump into our masterminds discussions. Those are not recorded because we want this to be a safe space for you. If you need to talk about something confidential, it's not out there in the universe. So just be aware that's why we record only part of it. And we also want you to know this call is for you. So if you ever want to request specific training, maybe it's a specific objection, maybe it is you want us to coach you on one of a live call that you took, definitely bring those to our attention. Angie Snow's email address is up here on the screen. Please take note of it. And if you'd like to email her call recordings, or if you want to send topics to her, you totally can. So just know we definitely want to cater to y'all. This is your space. All right. So again, today's topic is outbounding success strategies. I know a lot of us probably do outbounding already. So if you do, then I'm going to give you some tools to make that better. And if you don't already do outbounding strategies, then this will be a good opportunity to start to maybe consider doing that. So before we really dive in, I'm really curious, how many of you are currently already doing outbound calls in your business? Feel free to drop that into the chat or come off of mute. Awesome, we got some hands raising. Yes. Yes, yes, lots of yeses. Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear this. Now, I know, oh, actually got a no. That's okay, good. I hope that this is a really helpful call for you, Joanne. So if you are doing outbounding, first of all, give yourselves a pat on the back because it is hard. It is really hard to pick up the call and start talking to someone that wasn't expecting your call. It feels a little bit like cold calling. So just know you are doing something really great for your business, and I want you to feel comfortable doing it. That is part of why we're talking about this today. We want to make it easier on you. So something I want to start with is just a little bit of food for thought. And these are statistics for salespeople. So think your comfort advisors. Now, 44% of salespeople give up after one follow-up call. And also 64% of customers say no 4 times before saying yes. So the reason I'm bringing this to you is, one, I want you to be aware that if you are not following up multiple times, your success rate is going to go way, way down. So I'm going to show you probably the cadence that you should be following up and calling or emailing your customers that we recommend. And I also want you to know that it is very normal in your role, even on inbound calls, to get rejected. So that's something that you just need to kind of make peace with and understand. Like, I'm probably going to get no's on these, and we need to be okay with it. We can handle objections. So just some food for thought before we start to really dive into this. So 3 different components to success with your outbounding. One, we're going to talk about targeting. So who are we going to call and where are we going to find these people? It's not just a phone book. It's directly in your ServiceTitan account. And we're also going to talk about your tactics. So do you have scripts? Are you running special promotions? And when are you reaching out to these customers? And then lastly, I want to talk about a couple of ways to track, and we want to make sure that we're celebrating success too. I know that currently ServiceTitan doesn't make it very easy to track outbound calls. So just based on some conversations I've had with other ServiceTitan users, I have some tips for you. Does anybody have any questions so far? All right, cool. Okay, so number 1, targeting. Who are you going to call? Yes, it's a little ghosty. Get it? Ghostbusters? No, am I aging myself? Okay. So there are obviously a ton of different lists we can call from, but these are the most common that I've seen. So if we have memberships, then there are a couple of different reasons why we'd call them. One, maybe their membership's about to expire, and we want to make sure that they remain a membership customer. So we're going to call and get them to renew. We're also calling on unbooked recurring service visits. Those are your tune-ups, inspections. Maybe if we run plumbing, maybe we're doing backflow inspections annually. Anything that you have in that recurring service section. We're also thinking of customers that we've emailed before or texted before. Maybe it's somebody we haven't seen in a long time. We have a we miss you report in ServiceTitan for that. We also have unsold estimates. Maybe this is something that your team can handle. Maybe you have a specific person that's doing it. And we also have expiring credit cards too. So lots of different lists you can pull from. And you'll notice that some of these have different goals. So expiring memberships and expiring credit cards, that's somebody you can call anytime. So let's say your schedule's already full. You don't want to outbound to get calls on the schedule, or you're going to overwhelm your dispatchers. Those are things that can be done in downtime when you don't need new calls booked. And then the reverse, maybe we are trying to get calls on the schedule because it's a slower day. So just know you can be doing outbounding no matter what time of year it is. Is there anything else that maybe is not on this list that y'all are calling out on? Bobby Joe, I saw you came up with mute.
Yeah, so right now we just launched membership, so we don't have like a ton of that right now. But what our team is doing is looking back at previous services. So say customers this time last year that had a water heater installed, let's call them for maintenance and let's sell them a membership. Customers that had service this time around this time last year for AC maintenance, let's go ahead and reach out, offer them a special. So we pull from previous book jobs as well.
Oh, that is perfect. I especially love that you called out like an install, like, okay, we installed your water heater a year ago. Maybe you do something cheesy and you're like, hey, happy birthday to your water heater. You can do that on the phone. You can also do it in a marketing pro email if you'd like. But no, I love that. That's a great call out. Thank you. Who else are we calling? Does anyone else have a list that they call from that's not featured up here?
We
Can you hear
do
me?
2 years back,
2 years
like
ago.
older customer
Okay, love that.
on our downtime.
I love that. Mandy, what were you gonna say?
Can y'all hear me okay?
I can, yeah.
We had the idea the other day of making a tag called selling house for any customers who come in and they say that they're moving. And then we track those locations that our customers are moving out of so that we can send a snail mail housewarming promo for the next customer, maybe 6 months out or something like that, just to let them know we service this location in the past and we love to help you out. Here's a discount if you need our services, stuff like that.
That is gold. Oh my gosh, that is gold. That is an incredible one. And especially if you say like we're familiar with your house, that's going to make them feel like, oh yeah, I would love to use you. That's amazing. Incredible. I also see that Jenna put calling back on canceled appointments to see if we can get them back on the schedule. Yes, amazing. Um, who is afraid of the hold column on the job tray on the dispatch board? Me, that is a curse word in my book. Anytime we look into ServiceTitan accounts, that's one of the first places I look for problems, because sometimes that number can exceed like 300 calls. That's a problem. So definitely, especially if you're a dispatcher, keep an eye on that tray and just make sure that we're not missing anything. I love it. Y'all are bringing gold to the table today. Thank you. Yes, Liz, I hate the whole tray too. We need it, but it's never clean. Doesn't feel good. Okay. Oh, happy calls. Yes, that's great too. Happy calls are incredible. Because it's not even just to make sure they're happy, it's also to see if they were unhappy and try to catch them before they leave a bad review or cancel their membership. Love it. All right, so I'm going to jump into where can we find these customers? So number one, if you're in ServiceTitan, we do have the follow-up tab. If you don't see that, it might be permission based. But if you go in, you'll see that you have a bunch of different lists over here, and they do vary based on what you have turned on and off in your account. But we have unsold estimates, sold estimates. Why do we have that if it's already sold? This is a sold estimate that hasn't been booked yet. So this is also another great list. Maybe somebody approved an install and we still haven't done it. That's money that is just sitting there waiting to be done. Surveys, we have recurring service events, expiring memberships. Leads is a great one. If you do not see this in your account, by the way, this is really easy to turn on in your feature configurations and settings. This basically allows you, when you are not able to book a call, you can classify it as a lead not booked, and it shows up in this section so that you can try to call them back the next day. Or if they say, call me back in a week, then you don't have to leave it on a Post-it note. I'm guilty of that. So follow-up tab is great. And I also want to call out, if you don't like actually doing the work in the follow-up tab, you're not alone. I never liked to do it that way because I had a big team and they got kind of confused while they were all in there together. If you'll notice, there's a little export button right here. So if you'd rather export it into a spreadsheet, maybe a Google Sheet, so that you can see them all in it at the same time, then you're able to better organize who's calling who. We also have some reports. So back to the spreadsheet, if you don't want to export from the follow-up tab, you can create a custom report. We also have these are some screenshots I pulled. If you pick the customers template, you'll see we already have some lists for you. So one is just your full customer list, and then you can filter by whatever you're trying to target. We have new customers, so that's probably a good one if you're trying to do happy calls. We also have a We Miss You report. So I'm wondering, Brenda, if this is the report that you're using to call customers 2 years back.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
That's the one we use.
Awesome. So these are already built for you. You don't have to make them. So and again, if you can't see them, it could be permissions based. So just keep that in mind. But these are things that are already in your account for you. Awesome. Okay, now tactic. What are you going to say? So I put a little goat icon up here to remind me to make fun of myself a little bit, because when I don't know what to say, I usually just freeze. So my husband calls me his cute little fainting goat because I just go, boo. That's me. So when I first started answering the phones, I never knew what I was going to say. It was always just like let me think about that for a second. And I never felt confident, and my customers could feel it. And then my success rate went down. So what are we going to do? We're going to have some scripts. So I will tell you, I have a QR code here, and I can also drop the link too. But this script that I'm giving you, this doc, this is branded Toolbox Live. I stole it from Toolbox Live, so just know that that's where it came from. And I'm gonna let y'all have it today. But make sure that you have scripts for every call scenario that you have for your team. This is going to help them to just feel more confident. They know exactly what they're saying, especially if they're leaving a voicemail. I'm the most awkward voicemail leaver ever. It takes me forever to get out what I'm trying to say. If I'm able to read off of it, then a couple of things happen. One, I know what I'm saying, but also I'm gonna be able to visualize it in my head. I'll start to remember it, and then I might not even need to look at it in the future. I'll just know what I'm saying from memory. So I have a couple of suggestions here. One we have for those recurring service events we're trying to get booked. We also have a customer that was booked by a competitor. So just keep it really simple. And also when you're writing these out, think about your company branding. So for example, the company I used to work for, we were family owned, and our mascots were the three brothers that owned the shop. So everything we did was very family oriented. We told them we wanted to treat them like the brothers treated their mother, which was good, by the way. They loved their mom. So just kind of work that into your branding. Maybe you can work in your mascot, maybe you can work in your tagline, but just make it fit whatever you are doing as a company or whatever your branding looks like. And also don't forget, you can use AI to build these too. So upload what your brand looks like, how do you talk to your customers, and then tell AI, these are all of the different scripts I want, and then you can tweak from there. Oh, Liz, you dropped some knowledge. I love it. I am definitely going to call this out. Is anybody using Phones Pro currently? I see some head nods. So I do want to just call this out. If you're not using this, I apologize. I'm going to hurt your feelings. Phones Pro was our original Pro product for phones. We're currently working on Contact Center Pro. But Phones Pro has this feature called Voicemail Drop. And what it does, whenever you are making a call, if you get their voicemail, you can just select from a dropdown which voicemail you would like to drop, and you don't have to actually verbalize it, which is wonderful because think about how long it takes to leave a voicemail. That's 20 seconds to a minute probably. And then multiply that by how many times you had to leave the voicemail. Now all of that time is gone. It's just a drop down. So if you have Phones Pro and you're not using voicemail drop, go play with it. It is amazing. It'll save you so much time. And if you don't have it, we are starting to transition people over to Contact Center Pro. I don't know that Contact Center Pro has that exactly yet, but it definitely is on the roadmap because that is a gold feature. So yeah, great call out, Liz. If you're not using that already and you have Phones Pro or Dialpad, definitely look into it. All right, I've been yammering a lot, so I want to hear thoughts, questions, any other gold that we can sprinkle into this conversation. I would love that too.
I'm fairly new to ServiceTitan and the HVAC industry, but we have a filter on all of our bookings that of how old the system is. So I don't know if that's something particular to us or it's a universal selection, but that's what we did when we slowed down is we took all of our customers that we hadn't seen in a couple of years and had aging units 10 plus is kind of where we went with, and started giving phone calls to get more leads in for replacements or second opinion repairs, trying to get in the door essentially.
Absolutely. That is so smart because you know that those systems are not going to be around forever and you want to try and catch them while they're still there and
Exactly.
replaced by someone else.
Yep.
So
And so we
yes.
had the different,
Cool.
scripts for tariffs, for replacements, for price increases, for, all that kind of stuff, depending on which way the customer was going to take the conversation.
Well, absolutely. And also, I don't know if anybody's doing rebates for their customers, but if you're able to filter those equipment lists by the brand, the age, whatever it may be that applies to that rebate, that's another great one too. We also want to think, is this something that we are offering as a service to our customers? I know some of my ServiceTitan customers do the rebate paperwork for their customers. And that's also a really big plus too. So if you do that, mention it because a lot of people don't realize that they could be getting money back in their pockets for getting this replacement done. Just something to noodle on. Great call out, Wendy. Thank you. Amanda, she says, wish Ring Central had that. I agree. Every phone software should have it, in my opinion. All right, now let's talk promotions. And so I just have a couple here. I definitely want to hear from y'all. I don't know what that icon is. But think about, so we've already talked about We Miss You. We haven't seen you in a while. Who have you been using? Has nobody touched your system in a couple years? That's not good. Also cross-selling to other trades. So if you just had HVAC out, hey, we'd love for you to get a chance to meet our plumbers too. Can we send them out for a free or discounted inspection? What other promotions are we running? I'd love to hear it. Liz said, happy birthday to your water heater, promotional flush. Perfect. Love that. And I also love that Zoom gave you a bunch of birthday cake emojis when you said happy birthday. I didn't know that it did that. I also have heard, and this is a controversial one. I know some companies do not want to send a tech out for free, but if you have a technician that is just insanely good at doing upsells on inspections, it's not a bad idea. You can just call them and say, hey, we just put all of our customers in a hat and we pulled your name out of it. You got a free tune-up today and we're going to send so-and-so out. When would you like him out? And again, like pick your best technician to do that. And sending him out for free is not going to be so bad if he ends up turning it into a new HVAC system or a new water heater or something. Any other cool promotions that y'all run over the phone?
Since we did launch our memberships, we're doing a membership outreach. So we're going back to either newer or customers that have used us several times since going live with ServiceTitan and launching the memberships. And our CSR team is basically looking at their service history kind of showing the customer what they could save in the future based on their service history, and trying to get some memberships that way and book service at the same time. And it's going pretty well.
I love that. That's awesome. And that's a great way to just get those people in the door. And even if you brand it as like introductory pricing, like this is our brand new membership, we're getting people in at a discounted rate as we kick this off. I love that idea. Awesome. If you have any other promotion ideas, please feel free to drop them into the chat because we definitely are learning from each other here. I love this.
Yeah, we do another one. We're a company
Yeah.
based out of Boston, and so Massachusetts has something called Mass Save program. It is a rebate program from the like energy companies. And basically, if a customer is willing to get rid of a gas furnace or a gas boiler and upgrade to a heat pump, even if it is a dual fuel system, they get either a partial rebate or a full rebate, depending on the system upgrade they get. So the young lady that was mentioning equipment, great thing to have. We pulled all of our equipment that was a boiler or gas furnace. Hey, there's this Mass Save program. If you're interested, you can get a home audit for free, and we can come out at no cost and give you a complimentary estimate on an upgrade, because there's a lot of rebates, and your home would be more energy efficient. And we've had some really good hits from that, which is fantastic.
I love that. So I'm just curious, is there anybody in here that has never done rebates before and they're now really curious about it? Maybe, yes. I also see Kristen, we did a cash for clunkers, $300 off install of new equipment. I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna drop, I know I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I run a program here at ServiceTitan called Torch Network. And we recently did a call about rebates. And this is supposed to be specific to my Torch Network members, but I love you guys and you're very engaged, so I'm gonna share this. But this is my rebates guide. And basically what we did, rebates are so different based on where you are, what trade you do, what brand of equipment you sell. So I did a bunch of AI prompts where you can just fill in the blanks of where you are, all of the different things that I just mentioned. And then you can actually figure out what rebates are available to you. So I'm going to share that with y'all. You just give me 1 second. I'm going to drop it in the chat. And just know that this is exclusive. This is supposed to be just for Torch Network, but I will share it with y'all today. But no, great call out. And I also love Kristen's Cash for Clunkers, $300 off install of new equipment. That's a great one. You can also run contests, see if you can find the oldest system in your community, and whoever is the oldest one gets a free or really heavily discounted one. And oftentimes you end up selling installs out of that to the ones that didn't win anyway. Love it. I
We
love
got
it.
one that we're trying. We just launched, Brittany, where
Really?
for our memberships, we sell them for $18.99 a month. And what we're doing is we're putting that in a cash dollars for like a play cash for them, so they could use in the future to get that discount for furnace filters or whatever they might want to do in the filter in the future, and then give out quarterly newsletters with promotions, and then they can use that cash box too to come back to us in the future. And then that expires after a year, that their cash dollars that they have built up.
I love it. See, these are gold. And if you're not in charge of promotions and you're just the one making the calls, definitely bring these back to your marketing person, because these are fire. I love it. Love it, love it. Okay, in the sake of time, we're going to move on to when are you reaching out? So this is something that I kind of mentioned towards the beginning of the call is if we're not following up within a day, we're not doing well. We're not going to get that person most likely. And we also need to reach out probably more than 4 times to get a yes, because on average they say no 4 times before they say yes. So this is just something we've seen, and this is typically going to be on an unsold estimate or if you really are trying to get this recurring service booked before a deadline, we want to make sure that we are contacting them in different ways and consistently. Obviously, don't be obnoxious. You don't have to do a call, text, email all in the same day. I've had somebody do that to me. I don't like it. They probably won't like it either. So maybe on day one, we're doing a happy call, voicemail, and or sending a text message. A couple days later, we're going to call again. We're going to send them an email. Day 5, we're going to call again, send another email. And then by day 5, we've contacted several times in different methods. And the reason we want to diversify those methods, okay, I'm going to call myself out again here. It's just roast Brittany day. I'm a millennial. I hate talking on the phone. Okay, Brittany, why are you running the call center lunch and learn if you hate talking on the phone? I know it doesn't make sense. Does not make any sense. But if you text me, you'll be my best friend. Text messages have a 98% open rate. Calls are usually ignored because we are so scared of getting spammed. So and then also we know emails, a lot of our inboxes are dumpster fires, but some people are really diligent about checking their emails. So we just want to make sure that we're contacting in all of the 3 different ways so that we can meet our customers where they are and we're talking to them in the way that they want to be talked to. So just some food for thought in how we are reaching out to our customers, when and how. Okay, and then tracking. So how are we measuring success? If you're wondering where I got these graphics, it's AI. AI is so fun. Like, just play with it if you haven't already. So how are we measuring success? Before I jump into some of the ways I've seen, we know that outbounding specifically is kind of a struggle to track in ServiceTitan. So what are you doing now? I want to hear from you. If I hear crickets, then I'm thinking that you're struggling with this, and I hope I can help you. Wendy.
Very much struggling. We just, when we pull those reports from ServiceTitan, it's just a simple adding a column and putting called or another column for booked, that kind of stuff. But obviously that's successful if you're going out of ServiceTitan and looking back at the form again, or talking to the CSR to figure out, what has been done, but it's not an automatic thing that gets sent to you, so it is very hard.
It's a struggle.
Mhm.
Liz said she's using a report. I think most of us are probably also using a report, but it's how are we actually tracking that efficiency? It's kind of a pain in the butt. So here's just a couple of tips I've seen from others. Yes, Liz said not great. So 1, to easily identify the number of book jobs. This is really important. Oh, what are we doing? This is really important if you're running a Spiff program, if you are paying out a dollar amount per booked call, or you just want to see the number of calls aggregate that were booked. 1, you can create a call campaign. So I've seen some do a call campaign by CSR where it says outbound/Brittany, outbound/Wendy, so on and so forth. And that way you can easily pull that report. You can also do just an outbound call campaign that just says outbound booked. And then when you run that report, just delineate who booked it. We also have job tags. So right on the call booking screen, there is a tag field. So if you are booking an outbound job and you have a tag that says outbound booked by so-and-so, add it. You can run a report based on those tags. So this is just whichever one you prefer. Maybe you prefer to go the tag route and you want to keep the call campaign as their original campaign from when they first became a customer. It's completely up to you, but just a couple things that I've seen that are helpful. And then keeping track of your notes. So some are very picky. They want this to live in ServiceTitan. If that's the case, you should probably be using the follow-up tab. And if you are struggling with assigning your CSRs people to call based on that follow-up tab being kind of a cookie jar, maybe we give them like, okay, so-and-so, you call A through F, you call G through M, whatever it may be. And then they can keep those notes directly in the follow-up tab and they're easily referenced. You can see who's been contacted, who has been attempted to be contacted, who's actually been scheduled, or we can just use customer and location pages. Now, if you're not super picky about this living in ServiceTitan and you are using a report outside, then just get really creative with colors, highlighting those fields in your spreadsheet. You can also add little drop downs now. I love Google Sheets personally, so that's probably where that drop down functionality is coming from. And then also, if you're already using Contact Center Pro or are thinking about it, outbound call tracking is going to get a lot easier. The reporting is going to be there. I don't have anything to show you on it yet because it's so new, but the reason Contact Center Pro is being built is to fill in some of the gaps that Phones Pro has, and also some of the gaps that ServiceTitan has, because outbounding tracking is probably one of our biggest struggles right now. So just some things to consider. Any questions about any of this, or does anybody want me to show you what I mean by any of these things, or do we already kind of know? All right. Seeing more would be awesome. Yes, I can give you a quick example. Okay, let me share a different screen. All right. Okay, so we are in the follow-up tab, and this is up here, follow-up tab. And if I go over here, I'm hoping that I have some data that pops up. This is a fake account. Okay, awesome, we do. So when I am, let's say I'm following up on this customer, I can click into it. And it's going to bring me to this screen right here. So this is a recurring service event. So this could be a tune-up, it could be an inspection, whatever it may be. If I'm actually going to book the job, it's going to let me do it from here. I don't have to go back to the call booking screen to do it. And it's going to look not the same, but it has the same fields on it. So I can just go ahead and book the job right from here. And the nice thing is it's going to mark that recurring service as done for me. But let's say I call and I didn't get a hold of them. So I can hit log a follow-up and I can fill out some notes right here. So in this dropdown, there's also some templates that you can select from. So maybe you left a message and you just want to be able to quickly choose one of those. You're able to fill those out. Or maybe I want to do some custom notes. Talk to the customer, they're on vacation, call back next week. I guarantee there's going to be typos. Wow, this is so slow. Okay, anyway. Now you'll notice there's some check boxes down here. I knew it. My OCD is not going to let me leave those, okay? All right, some check boxes down here. So you'll notice I said I talked to the customer, so I successfully talked to them. So I'm going to say successfully reached them. And then you have the option of copying to customer notes or location notes. Personally, I think it gets too crazy on those screens, so I'm just going to leave them off. And then I'm going to change the recurring service event date. So they said call back next week. Today is 5/15, so I'm going to pick 5/22. And then when I go back to the follow-up tab on May 22nd, this person's going to pop up again. So then I can be really on point and I'm going to call them back on the day that I said I would. Now, if I was not able to contact them, maybe I want to call them back tomorrow. And then here I'm going to say left voicemail. And then I'm going to leave this unchecked because then what it's going to do, it's just going to say I attempted to call the customer. I didn't actually get a hold of them. So based on those check boxes, it's going to mark this recurring service event as reached, attempted, scheduled, so on and so forth. And it's going to affect how it shows up in the follow-up tab. Has anybody never seen this before?
I'm sorry, I missed the beginning part because I had to take a phone call. My CSR is actually in another training today. So where was this at in the follow-ups?
Yeah, so what I did was I went to
Okay.
recurring service events
Okay.
and I clicked into one of them. And then we showed off that if you are successfully booking the job, you can do it straight from this screen. Or if you didn't, you can
Okay.
follow up at the bottom.
Awesome. Thank you for showing me that.
You're welcome. Yeah. All right. I love that some of you have not seen this before or have seen it but didn't know what these things meant. This can definitely be a game changer. Was there something else I needed to show off in here? I can't remember. I think this was it. Amanda, are you off of mute?
Yes. So
Okay.
something we recently noticed that we've been overlooking
from the follow-up screen was call to call from the follow-up screen.
Yeah.
But if you do that, it only brings up one set of numbers, and I can't remember which set it is. It's either from the main customer profile or from the location. It doesn't bring up both. So if the numbers are different, and you have to, we require our CSRs to go back and make sure that a recurring service event wasn't done previously, and we're not calling the customer, and it just wasn't marked off the list somehow, some way. It was just missed, maybe booked incorrectly, those kind of things, because we've hired quite a bit of new staff recently. So we found that if you don't do it from there, there's no way to mark that you contacted the customer. Am I wrong in that? Because it'll say uncontacted. I think it says unreachable or not contacted when you run the
Yeah.
report.
So they just want to make sure after they make that call that they're still going back to leave the note, because the call itself doesn't leave the note for you. It's a separate workflow.
Right.
So they just want to make sure, even if they're on another page, especially if they're calling about a recurring service event, they still want to go back and log the follow-up in here.
We just know that if we call from here, it'll say that
Yeah.
we've contacted them.
Right. Yes, it
If
will.
we call from within their profile and not from the follow-up screen,
Yeah,
it doesn't change that status. Is that correct?
correct.
Okay. Okay.
But
I want to make
also,
sure.
I don't know if it's linked up here, but you should be able to click on the phone numbers up top too. So if they click call the customer here and it's not the phone number they want, they should be able to also just click up from here too.
If you click up from that top part that you're pointing to, it should still log that call because you're in the follow-up
That
screen.
I'm not 100% sure on, to be honest.
Okay.
I would
Okay.
test it though.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I have one more slide, I believe. And then we're going to jump into masterminds. So, oh, I see a question. I'm sorry. What do you do if you do not get a hold of a customer calling off of your recurring service event list? So if you don't get a hold of them, I would just put that you left a voicemail, and then I would put their next recurring service date for pretty soon in the future. Or try to contact them a different way. You can text them, you can email them, but again, it is possible that they just didn't want to answer the phone. So text is going to be a really good tool for you. Make sure you're using the chat tool in ServiceTitan. But yes, definitely leave the note that you left the message so that it can show attempted and that you were not successful in actually reaching them. Question about automated texting and follow-up. What is your question, Heather?
Hey there.
Hi.
So we've been in Titan since I think January, learning our way around. We are using the heck out of the texting automation for our reoccurring services. Love it. We're doing great with it. But with what we were just seeing earlier about it logging the follow-up by doing tasks from those screens, what we're finding is that and maybe there's some other thing I just don't know. I don't see a way to tie those together. So on the follow-up screen under reoccurring services, it doesn't know that they've been in this texting campaign and has been sent, 400 texts. I'm exaggerating, but yeah. I'm just wondering, is there anything new or different there, or am I overlooking something?
No, you are actually spot on. That is a gap. And I just spoke with a customer at Toolbox Live last week that complained about that. So I'm going to drop the idea for it in the chat. If you'd like to vote on it, please do. I'm trying to help her get the word out there. So
yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. I will do.
Welcome. I'm glad I was able to answer that, but I don't like that I was not able to give you an actual answer. It was a no update.
We
Okay.
use a partnering system, Chirp. And within Chirp, you're able to click it for it to become a note on the customer's profile. So anything we've texted them or sent them a campaign for, it'll pop up on their profile. So if we did like a special for our maintenances when we were slow. And so besides them calling or being like, I knew you were doing some sort of maintenance, but I don't remember the cost, it's now pinned on their profile so we can see what text we had sent them through Chirp.
Thank you for sharing. Wendy, you've been sharing so much today. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm going to try and power through this last slide because I want to be able to jump into masterminds. But I just want to call out, please make this fun, because as I mentioned at the beginning, outbounding is not fun. So we just want to make sure that we are rewarding. If you are a call center manager, please take this down, because that was easily the most successful, or the reason my team was most successful is I spoiled them. We always had some kind of contest going on. We were always praising in Slack or via email. We had bells that we were ringing if they sold a membership. We had a wheel that they could spin for prizes. Just so many different ways that you can do this. I mentioned raffle tickets. Sometimes we would do a raffle where every call booked, they would get a raffle ticket. At the end of the week, I'd collect them all and we'd pull a raffle ticket for some kind of prize. Or if they met a goal, maybe I'd bring them in lunch on Friday. And yes, I know some of these things cost money. Hopefully you have the budget for it. If you don't, there are other ways. I wish I'd put a picture in here, but one of the most successful contests I ever ran was whoever booked the most recurring service visits would get to dump a bucket of ice water on my head. I don't know why that was so successful. I think they were looking to get back at me for making them do so many outbound calls, but it really worked. They wanted to dump ice water on my head. They didn't actually care about lunch. So just get creative with this. It does not always have to cost money, but definitely make this fun. Okay, I am going to stop recording and